Where are all the men at? What happened to our man? Please understand, due to social media, a lot of you have shown your true colors. Due to social media, a lot of naive, delusional men have seen a side of women that they didn't know existed. A lot of you like to say men ain't shit, but in reality, the internet has shown a side of women that a lot of men have never experienced and or seen before because they don't come into contact with women a lot. 100% this. I'm not shocked because I know a lot of these things about women. But back in the day, when I would tell people, a lot of times they wouldn't believe me. But you see, as a female, I've been in the trenches with women. And I have been for roughly 60 years. But it wasn't until social media came along that you guys get to see it now too. You see, now I have proof. Whereas before when I would talk, it was just hearsay. The women on social media are proving it for me. I don't have to do anything anymore other than point it out. And very often I'm pointing out something that you guys have already seen. I don't have to be a whistleblower anymore. All I have to do is point. Look here, look there, go to the comments, take a look. But I will say this, what we're seeing online is just the tip of the iceberg. It goes even deeper than that. But truthfully, I'm grateful that a lot of you guys are beginning to see, because the landscape out here, the odds are stacked against you. And you're also beginning to see the bigger picture of how women think. The contradictions are startling. And the longer we have social media, the more emboldened these women become. They're flexing their ideals now. I see it. You see it. We're all seeing it.
Shout out to Miss Demi, because she's right. Conversations that once upon a time were reserved for sleepovers are now out for the entire world to see. Up next is a woman who goes out of her way to mischaracterize the RP message, embarrassing herself in the process. No further ado, roll the clip.
Okay, guys, so welcome back to How to Avoid Red Pill Men. I saw you guys' comments, and I know I left a lot of words off the list because I was just thinking of the words right off the top of my head. So I added those to the list, and we're going to go over it before we jump into step 2. So it's high value, traditional, cooperative, beta, cuck, Western women. Bop is a new one, but it is definitely red pill. 304, fit and friendly. Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray is more so used by a specific demographic of men, but nonetheless, they're still red pills, so they still gotta go. Okay, y'all, so part 1 is to weed out the men who are actually dumb enough to use those words, but the majority of men who consume red pill content are smart enough not to use them. So this is why we have part 2, right? Step 2 is knowing their tactics. Their goal is to create emotional turmoil in order to get you in a vulnerable place so they can get what they want. And how they're going to do that is by doing all of this. And these are the things that they said. They're going to try to get you to fall in love and feel attached, push and pull, hot and cold, never compliment you, try to get you to chase and view them as a prize, break you down, make you submit, punish you, pretend not to be into you, stress you out and give you anxiety, acting nonchalant, presenting themselves as the dream guy, stringing you along for as long as possible, sending you mixed signals, trying to train you, and putting in as little effort as possible. So one thing I need you ladies to know is all of their tactics, every single one of these falls under emotional manipulation, okay? All of their tactics revolve around emotional manipulation. But today we're going to focus on number 1, which is trying to get you to fall in love and get attached. This is how they're going to try to get you to fall in love and get you emotionally attached. They're going to do all of these things. They're going to smooth talk you, sweet talk you. And this is actually important because whenever we think about red pill men, right? We think about these angry, aggressive, women hating men, in which they are, but they know that in real life that doesn't translate well. So their initial approach is not going to be aggressive. So you have to remember that. They're going to use charm and charisma. And actually, I took this out of the video. I actually quoted it. He says, take them out, have a great time. You're laughing, loving, kissing on her. Then you disappear for 3 days. Y'all, this is the give you an experience and push and pull, hot and cold. This is it right here. This is their game. It is right here, right in front of your face. Then the next one is sending mixed signals, okay? Y'all, this is from the same video. One day you're feeding them scraps. You know I can't live without you, baby. You have to show them love sometimes. Then you look at them like you don't give a fuck that they're dead or alive. You have to feed the bitches scraps from time to time. Throw them a bone. Baby, you know daddy's been thinking about you. Then I don't answer my phone for the next day. So yeah, y'all, that was the say one thing and do the other. That was quoted. This was quoted verbatim from the video. So this is it. This is their game laid out right in front of your face. The next thing he goes on to say is cut things off whenever she misbehaves. So basically that the woman will think that the man has a bunch of options and she can be replaced at the drop of a hat. So it's so many things to go into. It's just so many things to talk about. But let me tell you guys what the takeaway is. So the takeaway for step 2, part 1 is never tell a guy what you're looking for. Don't give these men a cheat sheet on how to get what they want, okay? Always keep your emotions at bay. I hate that I even have to say that, but you can't be emotional with men who are plotting on you being emotional, if that makes sense, right? Never go by their words. Always go by their behavior. Always, always, always go by their behavior, and their behavior must always be consistent, y'all. This is the biggest one of the video. This is the biggest one. When you only go by their behavior and how consistent they are, their whole game is foiled, especially for part 1 right here. Their whole thing is foiled because if he switches up even once, you got to get rid of him, okay? You just got to get rid of him. And if he breaks up with you or cuts things off, never go back. See, this is a thing I forgot to add in the video. They have this thing that they're doing where this is also one of their little tactics where they break up with you because they want you to come crawling back. They break up with you out of nowhere and they want you to come crawling back basically so they can take advantage of you, manipulate you, just do all these type of things. And y'all, it's just so many things we're going to talk about, so many things I'm going to break down. So y'all just stay tuned.
I did a video a while back, 2-parter. Women hate when men know their worth. And this is where we are in this young lady's attempt to try to understand and reconcile the red pill understanding. See, what she's done, and it's a easy mistake to make, is she's presumed that the PUA or the pickup artist community is RP. She's convinced herself that men truly understanding women's nature, their scatterbrained, sometimey, wish-washy nature, their hypergamous nature, wherein they're always looking over the fence to see how green the grass in somebody else's yard is before they hop the fence to join them. Now, sometimes when they hop the fence, that green grass in a neighbor's yard is full of dog turds, and they get it all over their feet, to which they want to run back into your yard and use your hose to wash their feet off. I recommend no. You see, fellas, the real problem this girl is having is that she is having an issue most women in the modern first world West have. They don't want equality. They never have. They don't want equality in society. They don't want equality in their dating choices. They don't want equality in anything. What they want is a pronounced advantage that's one-sided, that only they benefit from. Men being aware of women's nature, the darkest aspects of it, puts them at a disadvantage because there are going to be games they can't pull. There's going to be scams they can't run, and there's going to be resources they won't have access to. That's the game. The game isn't men getting what we want because men are dynamic in our nature. We're dynamic in we see an obstacle, we find one or several different ways around it, over it, straight through it, or underneath of it. We're going to get to where it is what we want. This is why we have society. This is why we have rules in place to keep men from simply taking women that they see that they like. There are crimes in place, and they are enforced with brutal efficiency in most cases. Now, I will say this. It is not my place to tell men not to operate in a legitimate manner. It's not my place to tell men to operate in a sinister manner where you are lying to chicks straight to their faces about what it is your intentions are. But we can't pretend here that women are these paragons of virtue. that they go out of their way to tell men in straightforward fashion what it is they seek after. Most men have never once heard about the female dual, meaning two-part mating strategy. Whereas they want the best DNA from the tallest, most buff, most masculine man they can hopefully get access to and have ejaculate inside of them to full term, while picking up some dude who's built for taking kids to soccer practice to raise this kid. Now, if she's fortunate enough to find a guy that can do both and be both, win for her. But in most cases, and historically that's been the case, bear in mind, gentlemen, the DNA test did not exist before the 1980s. So it truly was a case of mama's baby, but papa's maybe. You might have been raising the milkman's kid, or the postman's kid, or your next door neighbor across the street when you were at work. Anything was possible. But we're going to sit here and have this chick tell us that we are somehow operating from bad faith by understanding how it is they work. By understanding that a man who gives a woman all her time and is at her beck and call is the first guy to get thrown out on his ass and replaced within moments. And with social media, with planet Earth's most successful dating app, Instagram, at their fingertips, right in their back pocket or in their purse, the options for her to get dug out are absolutely limitless from quite literally every corner of the world. So no, fellas, you need to be as ruthless in the dating market as they are. Understand their tricks. Understand their traps. Keep RP language to yourself, but know the knowledge. You don't have to say every day the sun rises and the sun sets in the evening. You don't have to say it to know it. Understand what they're doing. Understand what they're about. And I'm going to link those two videos pinned to the top so you guys can see if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, man, do not let these women, these modern Western women who are the lowest quality versions of themselves that have ever walked this planet, tell you that you need to continue to operate under 19th century rules while they are decisively 21st century women. That's the imbalance of power they want and they can only benefit from. You be traditional while they be traditional when they feel like it, if indeed they feel like it. No, sir. That's a bad deal. And around here at the Saving Men's Lives Network, we encourage men and boys alike to never sign yourselves on for a bad deal. You got rights too. You have desires too. And God damn it, you should have standards as well. And if they don't meet them, out they go. Off they go. We don't dangle these chicks a relationship over their head like a carrot tied to a string. No. This is what I need from you. And you're either on board or you're out the door. And once you leave, that door is locked and welded shut behind you. There is no get back. There is no going back. No. You don't pretend to be busy, fellas. You be busy. Find something to do. Get a hobby. I don't care if it's nothing more than doing calisthenics on the floor of your living room, because at least that way you're building up your strength. You're making yourself effective, and you're also improving the way you look in your clothes, as well as outside of them. Be productive, fellas. She gets the time that's left over. Modern women deserve the crumbs from the loaf that they've stolen. They want to pretend they're our equals. Well, okay. Then they get what they get, and they don't say shit. Shout out to our brother, the Bluff City Nerd, good friend of the channel, for bringing this chick to my attention. She got a lot of work to do, fellas, because what she doesn't understand is the femininity that we require, we no longer have to shop in this dating market to go and get. Airplanes are taking off every day. And if you got the money, I advise you to be on it. That's it, fellas. That's my time. Like the video, comment down below. Share with a friend and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we working. Until next time.